Tonight's Liberal victory province-wide surprised many. However, most believed the battle for the Prince George ridings would be tight. But instead, the Liberals dominated. Shirley Bond was re-elected for the third time by a wide margin, while rookie Mike Morris won his first. We have two reports tonight.
The Liberal camp was raucous as the polls started coming in, and when at last the two candidates from the Prince George ridings entered the room. Shirley Bond says she was surprised at how much of a win it was.
I truly believed we could do it if every single campaign team worked as hard as we thought they were working, and that's what they did. This came down to one riding at a time right across British Columbia, and we had some really spectacular wins. We held on to a lot of our seats. Our incumbents were re-elected. I mean, it is a lesson about the polls.
NDP candidate for the riding, Sherry Ogasawara, took the time to come over to the Liberal camp to congratulate the Liberals. She says defeat was bittersweet.
We certainly were disappointed, and polls, so many times asked about what my thoughts were around polls, but again, the only poll that ever counts is the one that voters attend and cast their ballots at, and again, that's the democratic process. We respect that, and the voters in the constituency have spoken.
The race was largely focused on the two main parties, but Conservative candidate Nathan Gita says he was pleased with the number of votes the Conservatives garnered.
I got a lot more support than I was even hoping for. I'm very excited to see the support that's grown in this riding over the course of the election, and I'm very excited to see the results. I'm very excited for my partner in crime, Terry, as well, and he's been like a running mate to me. Like we've both been, we've worked in the same office, we've met with the same constituents across the line.
Bond says when it became clear that the polls showed a tight race, the Liberal machine swung into gear.
I think that it did create a sense of urgency, and we wanted to prove the pollsters wrong. But if you look at it in another way, we just had to look at what happened in other elections. The polls were wrong. And we knew in our hearts that if we could get our vote out today, that we could do very well.
Now it's off to Victoria for the Liberal candidates in this riding when they get the call. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
Faces are stunned at NDP headquarters as the results are finalized. The voters of Prince George Mackenzie have chosen Liberal Mike Morris to represent them in Victoria. The crowd at Liberal headquarters was elated as their new MLA-elect enters the room. The former Mountie has been elected to office for the first time.
What was I expecting? I was expecting a very tight race, and but I was optimistic the whole time. Because of the volunteers that we had and the hard work they were doing, I thought it just had to pay off.
Whereas at the NDP headquarters, the mood was quite somber. After losing the election and Bobby Deepak's disappointing loss, the crowd at the Prince George Civic Center was down.
Our campaign team worked very hard. Our supporters worked very hard. And at the end of the day, obviously it's disappointing. But the people have spoken, and we have to live with that.
The race was equally disappointing for Conservative Terry Rice.
It's been a real challenge, and it's been there's a lot of polarity, and it's going to be interesting to see what the outcome of this is going to be. We've had a lot of support, and it remains to be seen, really.
The Liberals were said to have trailed in the polls throughout the whole campaign, but only one mattered in the end.
We weren't taking anything for granted. Everybody knows that the only poll that counts was today. And, it was nice over the last couple of weeks to see the numbers coming up. It's encouraging, but we weren't going to give up until tonight.
Zamir Karim, CKPG News.